And we welcome you to the Cubbie Corner here on SouthBendCubs.com. It's your broadcast team back with you, but the tropical edition of the Cubbie Corner. Tropical for two different reasons. I'm Brendan King. That's Max Thoma. That's fantastic. I am in Naples, Florida. I'm down visiting my parents. I'm also going to be at the first IndyCar race coming up on Sunday. For you, though, Max, it's tropical for you because I guess the weather is not ideal right now in South Bend, but you could call it tropical with the rain.
We're getting tropical, cue up Jackie Moon. Let's get tropical. I happen to be wearing a somewhat tropical shirt. You said we were doing tropical edition. This was actually in a drawer near my desk, so I figured I'd go with the lay as well. But yeah, let's get tropical with it.
Well, that's got to be from like Margaritaville night circa 2019. So
yeah,
that's
it might,
they
lays they age well. Actually, they age more like wine than bread, they say. So we're doing well. And actually, we're both having some interesting hair days because I was just up on the video board. So I got a little ocean course hat going. Is that? I think that's a little tropical.
You're more prepared than me. I am in like 80% humidity, so my hair is not a fan of that. But you've got the tropical. You came ready. I just kind of posted up in front of a palm tree. I think that'll work too.
So in the actually time recording this, not too distant future, there's going to be a plane, somewhere in your vicinity overhead that's going to have Joe Hart and Nick Brown on there because they're flying down to Miami with Andrew Berlin.
Oh wow, they're getting some 305 action. Joe Hart and Nick Brown.
Couple days, yeah, they're having some meetings down there. So, but actually here in South Bend, I should say you can see the field, the entire field, the grass. It does look really nice because all the snow has melted. It's kind of the first time in the year outside of last Thursday when it all melted, but there was so much water. It's actually dry out there. So it's looking nice. Baseball's around the corner.
Well, that's a step in the right direction. April 8th, the Quad Cities River Bandits opening day at Four Winds Field. Max and I are ready to go. A couple of things to remind you on today's episode of the Cubbie Corner, though, before we get to Max's interview with DJ Herz, one of the top left-handed pitching prospects in the Cubs organization. You saw him at Four Winds Field in 2021. First of all, Max, Polar Plunge coming up on Saturday. If you want to see Chris Hagstrom go like full Slim Shady, there's still some work to be done.
Yeah, we got some money to be raised. We're trying to hit that 2,000 goal. We have most importantly surpassed our original goal of $1,200. But if you want to donate, you can go online to SouthBendCubs.com, click on the link. You can still donate. The Polar Plunge is going to be here on Saturday. If you want to come, I'm going to be there. I might take a dip. We'll see.
You're jumping in?
I might take a dip. Who knows? We're gonna do it live. Hey, if I got the lay on, I got to get in the water, right? And it looks like the weather's actually gonna be pretty decent. So
yeah, we've definitely had the warm stint. We've kind of had like that first sign of spring in Indiana before we get back to like winter the first week of March. But speaking of the first week of March, single game tickets, South Bend Cubs coming right up, right, Max?
The king of segues right there. Yeah, March 9th, single game tickets available. I mean, look at your calendar right now. It's February 22nd as of us recording this. That's right around the corner, single game tickets. And then boom, month away, we're into the season. And then all of a sudden we're rolling along.
Now, when that period of time comes up, SouthBendCubs.com, you can call 574-235-9988. Everybody will be happy to take care of you. So you can get set up to be in attendance on April 8th as the Cubs square off with the River Bandits. Our first trip, looking forward to it, to Fort Wayne to take on the Tin Caps to Parkview Field. And actually, I was talking on down on an indie radio station, 93 WIBC. Even though whatever's happening with the big leagues right now, it's definitely cool, Max, that all three Indiana ballparks, Four Winds Field, Parkview Field, and Victory Field down in Indy, they're all going to be occupied this summer. I think that's what means most.
Yeah, it's gonna be a blast to be back there, and all of our fans know that we're starting on that date, April 8th. Baseball will be happening. It's nice that we have a nice concrete day, as opposed to the more fluid situation happening in the big leagues right now.
No doubt, man. DJ Herz, Cubs left-handed prospect. What'd you take most from that interview, Max?
Can I say, I think the biggest takeaway, there's two big ones, and one is more of a fun fact that just blew my mind. He said that, keep in mind, DJ Herz grew up in Fayetteville, North Carolina. He's not particularly close to an MLB team there, which is a nice lead into he's never been to an MLB ballpark.
Really?
Never been to an MLB game, never been to an MLB stadium. So I asked him, I was like, wow, I mean, does everybody in the organization kind of, make fun of you for this bit of information? He said people don't really know. He doesn't really talk about it. So I'm hoping word spreads. And he's also hoping that his first game ever in an MLB stadium will be his debut, which would be a heck of a story.
like if that game was on, if the game's on marquee, they'll absolutely talk about it. But if that game's like nationally televised on ESPN or Fox, they're gonna soak that up. If like every inning they're gonna toss down, it's like it's his first time in an MLB ballpark.
Yeah, I mean, that was just wild. So that was like a bit of information that I was just like, wow, I'm absolutely gonna. That's someone when they say something like that, you're always gonna take it with you. But the other thing, which I talked to you about after I interviewed DJ. And we have a lot of interviews, done that we kind of set on for a bit. So this DJ one is actually pre-Super Bowl. So I asked him for his prediction and mine. We both had Bengals win. But, man, the kid's confidence, I was telling you about his goals for this upcoming season. And there's nobody out there making loftier goals than DJ Herz. But you look at the numbers from last season, he can back it up. He should be making that kind of, goal. He wants to be the first Cubs pitcher ever to win minor league pitcher of the year, back-to-back seasons. I think he said he wanted a sub-2 ERA and that strikeout rate to stay at over 14 Ks per 9 innings. So,
so busy at the table.
That's something. Well,
finally, I can finally hear somebody in the background enjoying themselves.
I thought I picked. That's cool about DJ, by the way. I thought I picked a pretty good spot. I'm kind of secluded around a palm tree, which is good. But I mean, it is busy season down here, and you going to school down here. Busy season.
Yeah, I was hoping to catch you poolside. I was hoping to maybe see. I honestly, you get 5 degrees at least warmer if you see a drink with an umbrella on it. And I was hoping somebody would be passing around a little Mai Tai or a little pina colada or something.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I still might be here by the time we record the next one. So I'll keep that in mind. I'll be sure to have like a little cup with an umbrella on it. And then we can go. We can go tropical part 2.
Yeah, get a little like a little virgin daiquiri going or frozen daiquiri.
It's gotta be a virgin one.
Frozen marg. Yeah, just if you want to drink it on air, hey, it doesn't need to be. You can just say it is. I'm not making the rules here, but I mean, look at that backdrop. I got the pro backdrop going here, which is nice, but I mean that yours almost actually looks like it's a green screen, and because it's so nice.
Well, the early days of the pandemic, right? People were doing Zoom meetings, so you could put whatever you want behind you. So people were like putting palm trees behind them, but these are actually real. So this is Zoom with real palm trees.
There were so many people doing great things when that was first happening. Like the guy who recorded himself as in a background forever and recorded it long enough that like 30 minutes in, he walks in and gives himself a cup of coffee. But
that's terrific.
It's the background. They just, people doing hilarious stuff like that.
Oh, man. DJ Herz coming up on the tropical edition of the Cubbie Corner. That's Max Thoma. I'm Brendan King. Max's interview with 2021 South Bend Cub DJ Herz right now.
Welcome to another edition of the Cubbie Corner. I'm South Bend Cubs broadcaster Max Thoma, joined by the Chicago Cubs minor league pitcher of the year last season, DJ Herz. DJ, how you doing today?
What's going on? Good. I'm good. How about you, Max?
I'm doing well. I'm in snowy South Bend. Where do I find you on this lovely Wednesday afternoon?
I'm in Tempe, Arizona right now, and I've been training out here in at the facility since November. So on and off November, and then they let us go home for like a week, and then we come back out for a month, and then we go back home. But now we're out here till spring training, so it's getting to the time of the year.
It's got to be so nice to be out there in the warm weather, especially last week in South Bend over a 24 to 48 hour period, we got 10 inches of snow.
That's pretty cool if you ask me, because I like the snow. So I like that. But out here it's been pretty chilly too. So it's like dry, but like it's been like 40 degrees in the morning when we throw. So it's been super chilly here too.
Wow. 40 degrees. It gets that cold?
Yeah.
I know it's desert.
It's getting that cold, but it's starting to creep back up now.
Do you get snow at home in Fayetteville? Is that an area that gets snow?
It's like every other year. So this year, like I left, so I was back home for Christmas break, and then I went back out January 2nd, back here January 2nd. And the day I leave, it snows the day I leave. And I was pretty upset about that. But it snows like once every 2 years, but we don't get much. We mainly get flurry. You can't even like build it in a snowball. It's just like fluffy snow.
That could be tough on a travel day when it finally snows.
Okay.
I imagine a lot of flights are getting canceled in an area like that.
Sure. If it snows or even has in the forecast, schools getting canceled or delayed, or you get out early. So it's pretty cool for people that are like in school.
So I was born and raised about 20 minutes north of Wrigley Field, actually, in the northern suburbs of Chicago. And when we knew we had a big snow coming, everybody knew, and all the stall trucks were out there at night. And the only time we got snow days is when it snows a lot and it's unexpected. which is a rare combo. Although
Yeah.
my senior year, we actually had 2 cold days, I believe. Where it was just too cold. Well, I
Just
didn't know that was a
negative?
thing. Yeah, like with the wind chill, like -20, like, hey, it's not safe to be outside for an extended period.
Man.
So that's fun for us. That's fun as a kid.
Oh yeah, we're
So
way
how-
louder on it.
Absolutely. So how great is Arizona, this time of year, February and March, when, everybody starts rolling in, and then sooner or later you got the entire Cubs farm system, pro team, just everybody in the Cubs organization is out there in Arizona together.
Oh, it's nice right now. People are starting to come in, but I think a lot of the pitchers and catchers are coming in the 18th, and then the full group of everybody's coming in. I want to say March 2nd, but everybody's is getting to that time, and we're all getting ready. We're starting to throw bullpens. Hitters are. I think today was the first day. 3 hitters did lives against somebody, but everybody's getting back into things, hitting BP on the field. But I mean, it's really cool to see, and we're the Cubs are super excited for this upcoming year.
So those first few live hitters you face in the year, in February when it's snowing in the Midwest, do you guys just totally own them the first few go arounds when they haven't seen live pitchers, let alone of that quality, in a while?
Oh well, it won't me. I won't start throwing lives till March, so beginning of spring training. But one of the older pitchers, like I think his name was Ben Holmes, and he was throwing a live, but actually the hitters did pretty good. I went to go watch it, see one of my boys, Pete Crow.
Yeah,
he was swinging in the lives today, and he did pretty good. He got a base hit, but it was very light, and so but it was just cool to see like people getting back on the mound, getting in that competitive state. So it was really cool.
During spring training, do you usually get to pick the brain of some of the older guys, maybe the MLB guys, or the top prospects in the Cubs farm system? Be they pitchers, starters, relievers, or maybe even hitters trying to get advice from the other side?
Oh yeah, for sure. Minor leaguers, I definitely try to pick as many brains, or the pitching coaches, but the major league, they kind of stay on their side, and then you kind of just know they're there, but you don't really like go up to them or anything just because they're big leaguers. But you can like see how they work, how they do things, like what their intent is, and that's stuff like you can pick up on and like you can learn on just without even talking to them. So it's something you got to just pick up that you just watch and see.
Did you ever go to spring training as a kid?
No, I never. I've told this on before, but I've never even been to like a Major League Baseball game, like in a stadium.
Really?
Really.
How is that the case?
I don't know. I'm from North Carolina, so like we don't have really like anything around us. I think the closest thing to us was like Washington, D.C., and that's like a 5 to 6 hour drive. And other than that, like I was like when I was a kid, like I was playing basketball, baseball, football, like travel ball. So baseball, I was every single weekend. I was at a tournament, and then I had basketball sometimes the same exact weekend. And after I finished the baseball games, I would drive to the basketball tournament and then go play that. So I mean, I was just doing too much, and like we never really got time to go to a real baseball. I think the highest baseball game I saw was like we got sent out, or there was a tournament in Omaha, and it was during like the College World Series. So that was probably like the biggest game I got to see.
So do your teammates ever like make fun of you for this? Are they ever just like, hey, we got to find a way to drag you to a game one night?
I don't even know if they know. I don't know. Not many people know, but I mean, I'll my first time I'll go to a big league stadium is when I play. So that would be pretty cool.
I mean, that's a pretty epic storyline that, I mean, I wonder if that's ever happened to anybody before. I doubt anybody keeps track of that.
Somewhere out there.
So what's the haven't been going to any baseball games, but what's the most fun thing you've been up to this off season?
I'll say one of the funnest thing was me and 3 other pitchers, Cohen Moreno, Tyler Schlafer, and Drew Gray. We all went to we entered, because we're all down here for this camp, and we entered a 4-on-4 golf scramble tournament, night golf. Ooh. And we ended up winning it. Shooting 3 under. It was only 9 holes, but we shot 3 under, and that was pretty cool. And that was probably the most fun thing we did over this off season.
So glow in the dark balls, glow in the dark pins.
Glow in the dark balls, glow in the dark pins, and they lit up the fairways with lights.
like a
So
runway.
you could, like, yeah, like a runway. And so it was pretty, and then the greens were like the shape of the green, they had the lights all the way around, and you could just track your ball all the way. And it was a scramble, so it was pretty cool, play best ball. And we did pretty good and we won.
That's awesome. How many balls you lose in a night golf?
We thought we were going to lose a lot, so we bought extras, which they were expensive, but we ended up not losing one ball. So it wasn't bad.
I mean, you gotta think it's hard to find at night, but I mean, if it's lit up, it's gotta be pretty easy to find in the woods, right?
You can watch the drive and you can watch it all the way go down and then drop and then bounce and then bounce. So if it went anywhere like in a bush or something, you could literally see the ball like blowing outside the bush. So it was pretty cool.
It's got to make a bad shot feel a little worse because
Oh, yeah.
everybody can see it the whole way. There's
Oh,
nobody
yeah.
losing that in the sun or losing it because they missed it off the tee or
Oh,
anything.
yeah, exactly.
That's pretty funny. So if we rewind a bit to get down to baseball, end of the season, end of 2021, you won that award, Cubs minor league pitcher of the year.
Yes, sir.
How much of that mean to you to finish off the season like that? Your first full season of minor league
It
baseball.
it meant a lot. It was just cool to see, like, to just be patient and just trust that all the hard work you put in, like over the COVID season, that it paid off. And it was just really cool for my family and all my friends, and like for my teammates too, just telling them like I can do this, and then being able to do it just to prove it and prove that like I belong and stuff. So I mean, it was really cool for everybody, but mainly myself. Just know that it all paid off, and I was very happy. You couldn't take a smile off my face.
So I was punching some numbers earlier. If you happen to have one more start last year, and hypothetically you didn't get a single out, and the first 14 batters all got base hits, your opposing batting average last year would still be sub 200. I mean, I don't want to get too much into the numbers, but like they were ridiculous. Opponent batted 157 in 81 and 2/3 innings. You struck out 131 batters. It's a K rate over 40%. It was the highest ever in low A since Fangraphs started tracking in 2006. At what point during the year did you know, like, wow, I got something special going?
I would say probably after the Columbia game, where I had I think 0 hits, maybe I think 0 hits, something like that, and just 9 Ks in 4 innings, and that was like my 3rd start of the year. I just from the first month when I won pitcher of the month, from the very first month, I knew like, all right, I can compete and I can dominate, and then I just carried that confidence all the way through, that nobody can touch this ball. Anything that I threw in the zone, like nobody was going to touch it all throughout the season, and it just kept carrying on, and it was really cool to see. And I'm just glad I was able to do that my first season and know I can do it. And now I just got to get even better, and it's just going to keep going up from there.
I'm glad you brought up the Columbia Fireflies, because I feel like every time I was checking scores, throughout the Cubs farm system during games to do a little score update on the Cubs farm system, it seemed like every time you guys are playing Columbia, it was all Pelicans. And I remember digging into some numbers when you made that start versus Quad Cities, the last series of the year, because they had called up, I think, like 4 or 5 guys that you had faced when they were with Columbia. And I added up the numbers, and they were like a combined 1 of 16 with like 14 strikeouts.
Oh yeah. I had Columbia's number. I remember talking with my pitching coach, because they would only keep me on a pitching inning limit. So the first time I pitched against them, I pitched 4 innings, no hits, no runs, I think 9 Ks. Then the next time I pitched, I had 5 innings against them, and I want to say no hits and no runs. So those combined was 9 innings. That the first 2 times I played them, and they had no hits, no runs. So I kind of no-hit them the first 2 times I played them, which was pretty cool. And then I got to throw the no-hitter, the combined no-hitter against them. So I just had Columbia and the Royals organization's number at this year, past year.
So the no-no is one of a couple moments I want to talk to you about last year. When you're throwing a no-no, are you more nervous when you're on the mound and you look up there and you see that 0 in that hit column? Or are you more nervous when you hit the bench and you're more of a fan or a teammate watching, your relievers take over and try to finish it off?
I'm definitely way more nervous once I come out the game, because it's not in my control no more. And but that game was super cool. I knew Estrada was going to come do his thing, And then I think we got to the very last inning, and then I think it was like a walk and a walk. And then I think we got 3-2 again. And then the umpire rang him up. And it was just a really cool feeling, like a bunch of different feelings. But yeah, it was definitely nerve wracking getting into like the last 2 or 3 innings. It was like, oh shoot, we might actually do this. Cause I had a bunch of like no hits going into but it just never lasted. So just this time it was really cool to see and just to be a part of.
And then the other start I really want to talk to you about is the return to Fayetteville, the return to your hometown. What was that like? Obviously, you went out, you shoved 4 shutout innings, 10 strikeouts. I think my favorite stat that I saw from that game is obviously you're a lefty on the mound. There were righties in the other lineup combined. They went 0 for 10 with 10 strikeouts.
Yeah, I saw that. That was pretty sick.
I mean, just take me through that start and what it meant. Who was in the crowd watching you that day, and how much did that day mean to you?
It started with the clubby asking me. He was like, I know you're probably gonna need a lot of tickets, so we're gonna give you 60 tickets. You can distribute them however you want. So I was like, all right, let's get them out. And then so I gave out 60 tickets to just people that like I grew up with and stuff like that. And then my high school baseball coach also bought 200 tickets for the whole entire school, or the high school I went to, because it was literally like 5 minutes down the road from where the Woodpecker Stadium is. And he gave out 200 tickets, and it was awesome. And then the day of the start, I go out to the field, and their bullpens are in the back left field. So like you can watch over like the hangover, watch over the bullpen, and you're like right there in like left field. And so like I had like a bunch of coaches, friends, and family just like watching over the bullpen, like me warming up, and all of them just like cheering in my ear. And then just when I got on the mound, the Woodpeckers, the announcer, he put a big screen picture of me when in my high school uniform on the scoreboard, and he said, "Welcome home, DJ. Glad to have you. Let's play ball." And it was a really cool moment for that. And I knew I had to put on a show for the fans, and because this was going to be my only time I probably ever got to pitch home, and I knew it was going to be a big moment for me, and just like something to look back on. And I'm glad I took full advantage of it.
Yeah, that's got to be so awesome. I think I remember seeing the video of the announcer saying that.
Yeah,
with you out there on the mound.
It was really cool. The Woodpeckers did it right.
So back to those high school days, because you brought it up, just down the road. I always love looking up, especially pitchers' numbers when they were in college, I mean, when they were in high school or college, but especially when they were younger. So that senior year you had in high school there in Fayetteville, 0.50 ERA. And I read that you added 5 miles per hour to your fastball going into your senior year as well.
Yeah.
I mean, was the rest of the league just like, I mean, you got to be freaking kidding me with this guy. He's hitting 95. Like,
yeah, they had no chance. I think throughout my high school career, I think batters only batted like 0.01 or like 0.100. And high school was fun. It was so cool to dominate. And but yeah, I miss hitting too.
So that was the other part. So I don't actually have the number in front of me. I think your senior year you hit like 417, if memory serves me right.
Oh, yeah.
So you were just dominating. But when you can when you can sit low 90s and top out mid 90s, what's the pitch mix like in high school? Did you need more than the fastball?
No, the fastball was the main thing, but it was good to show like the scouts I had a curveball too. And it was a pretty good curveball, but it was like way more slurvy and not what it is now. But looking back, I wish I had a changeup where I at least like threw it in the mix just to show it out there just for the scouts. But all I needed was mainly my fastball and my curveball. And if my fastball wasn't on that day, it still got the job done. Where as of now, if my fastball's off, like I got to find other ways to get outs. But yeah, the fastball was just overmatched much of the main part of the high school teams we played.
I remember my sophomore year in Chicago, I was on the varsity team, and we faced a guy going to Indiana who was a lefty who threw like 88 and had run. And it was like, please just don't hit me. I'll strike out on 3 pitches. That's cool. Just give me fastballs so I don't embarrass myself. Because I don't want to be sitting fastball and him to throw a bender in there and me to
so first pitch curveball and just swing out your shoes.
Yeah, all of a sudden I'm like sitting down.
and then like what's coming next?
Oh, exactly. So I did a little research on your high school, and if we're trusting Wikipedia, there have been 6 NFL players formerly that went to your high school, but no Major League Baseball players. What would it mean to be the first from your high school?
We just had our first major league guy this year debut.
Oh, really?
His name's Austin Warren with the Angels. He
Oh,
was
fantastic.
when I was in 8th grade, so in middle school, he was a senior. So I never got to play with him, but he went out of JUCO and then went to UNCW, which is UNC Wilmington, and then got drafted late rounds by the Angels, and then just worked his way up and debuted last year for Joe Madden, which was pretty cool. And they're super high on him, which is awesome. I'm happy for him. But I think the biggest notable that went to our school was J. Cole.
I did see that.
He played basketball, and he was a graduate of a Bulldog, Terry Sanford. It's pretty cool. That he's huge in Fayetteville. He's the one that everybody looks up to in Fayetteville. He's the guy, especially at Terry Sanford.
That's sweet. So how cool would it be for you to be in the MLB and have 2 players all of a sudden together from Terry Sanford in the
Play
major
against
leagues?
each other. It would be sick. It would be awesome. I know my high school coach would love that. He wouldn't be able to stop smiling. He would be crying probably, but it would be an awesome moment, and get probably a jersey swap too in there if we could do it. That would be cool.
That would be a cool jersey swap.
All
So
right.
you're obviously a 3-sport athlete in high school as well, and you were big on football. You were QB, right? QB1.
Yes, sir. Exactly.
And you were getting recruited by the home state school in North Carolina to play QB, right?
Oh yeah. Well, I don't know if like recruited, but I was definitely going to walk on if Sam Howell wasn't there, didn't transfer over that last time. I was definitely going to walk on to UNC and try to do what I could, and I know I could have definitely made the team and had a chance to at least compete for a spot on the depth chart for sure. But I think if I trained football, because football was one of those like I didn't train nowhere near as hard as basketball or baseball, but football came so naturally, and I think football could have been easily my best sport if I trained it from the get.
That's
I
funny.
love football. Friday Night Lights was a different type of feeling. That like adrenaline rush, the atmosphere, it was amazing.
So I was just talking to Jordan Wicks a week or 2 ago, and he pretty much said the same thing. You guys played very different positions. You were QB1, and he was an all-conference kicker.
Okay.
In Arkansas. He was a lefty kicker too. But he kind of said the same thing. He was all about baseball, and then football came so naturally to him. That he could just go out there and do it.
Dang, I didn't know he could kick like that.
Yeah, I think he told me his career long was 44. But he was a 90% field goal kicker in his senior season.
Especially in high school, that's sick.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. You don't even attempt that many, let alone a 40+ yarder.
Exactly.
At least where I'm from in the Midwest, no one's kicking that in the cold.
No, that would have been huge for us in a couple games if we could have a kicker to knock it down.
So you're obviously a tremendous athlete. You're a quarterback. You played basketball too, right?
Yes, sir.
So you have a pretty unique delivery, I would say, on the mound. I remember talking to Michael Ryan about it the first time he saw you. You're a lefty. You work all the way on the left side of the rubber. And Michael Ryan, sitting on the home plate edge of the dugout, thought that you were about to throw the ball into the dugout the first time. He said that's what it looked like. But so do you think that athleticism really helps you with that unique delivery and arm motion that you have?
For sure. I definitely think it does. Like, I think football is a big part of me being able to to mechanically do my delivery, because when I was a freshman in high school, our football coaches, weightlifting coaches were really good. They knew what they were doing. So I was training from my summer year, and then all school year we would have weightlifting class. So football kept me in the weight room and kept me strong, kept my legs get to be super strong, and it allows me to dip down, get across that cross body, which that was just natural, like how I threw. I didn't try to throw cross body. It was just natural. And but I think my legs play a big part in that, and just staying in the weight room since I was young allowed me to be able to do that. And but it was the Cubs who moved me from, because I was on the right side of the mound, not knowing anything about cross body, or I didn't even know I was cross body until I heard scouts saying stuff. And then the Cubs moving over to the left, and I think that gave me a lot more of my success last year, because nobody really seen anybody come from that far from the left side and crossbody and like super deceptive. So I think moving over to the other side of the mound was a big part of my success.
So do you ever, hear comps to guys? Like, are you watching certain MLB players that you want to emulate? I know on air last year, Brendan King and I were kind of talking about you having a similar arm motion and delivery to, say, an Andrew Miller or a Josh Hader, guys who are lefties who throw from that kind of angle, who
like a Chris
just
Sale.
it's just so hard to pick the ball up. Are you
Yeah.
watching certain guys and trying to kind of mimic a little bit what they're doing?
I never really watched much. I was more into hitting. Like David Ortiz was my favorite player. Like I loved watching David Ortiz. But if I like had anybody like that, like I looked up to like as a pitcher, it was definitely Clayton Kershaw. But I never really watched like any other pitchers other than like Clayton Kershaw, and that was my guy.
So were you pumped when Ortiz first ballot Hall of Fame last month?
Oh yeah, I knew it had to happen. But yeah, I was super pumped.
She grew up in Fayetteville, North Carolina. Well, is there a baseball team that most people are a fan of there? Were you a Red Sox fan growing up?
Yeah, I was a Red Sox fan growing up, but I think it's pretty diverse. I would say it's either the Nationals or who else is biased? Probably the Nationals or Red Sox. I know a good amount of Red Sox fans from where I'm from.
Are the Orioles got to be like somewhat close?
Nah,
No.
yeah, nobody likes the Orioles.
Hey, they've certainly had some recent struggles that were
for
that were
sure.
notable. So I'm looking through all the numbers you put up last year, just these ludicrous strikeout numbers that are not just great but historic. One, how do you follow that up? Like, what are you tweaking in the off season when you come off such a great year?
So my curveball wasn't the best it was this year or this last year, and just mainly with like the spin efficiency and like all the science stuff, it could be way better, and that's what we were focused on like after the season and this off season was just cleaning up the spin efficiency, getting more spin on it, and we achieved that through the off season, and now we're just trying to maintain that through spring training, and that's been my biggest thing. But my biggest thing is the walks and command. So we're working on just throwing more strikes in the zone, and if we can do that, that will just be even more dominant. So that's the biggest thing, just working in the zone, command, and keeping the curveball shape. What it's like after the last season.
So I think what you just said there kind of answers another question that I was going to lead into, which is, you're such a big strikeout guy. How do you toe that line between, racking up the strikeouts, but also trying to be efficient and work deep into games?
I mean, it's tough, but because like it like with my like opponent's batting average, it's hard for people to put a ball in play. So they'll foul the ball off, or they'll want to take pitches because they don't know like what's coming. So it's tough. I get into deep counts, but I just need to be more efficient. And but when I go up more and more, the hitters are going to get better and better. So hopefully they can put balls into play, so I don't have to keep going into deep counts and stuff like that. But we'll see. So that's been my most important thing to work on this year is my efficiency.
So another thing that I asked Jordan last week was just, what's it like being part of such a competitive group of pitchers? The young pitchers in the Cubs farm system, you can just go down the list, are so good, especially, on the lefty side, you got Wicks, you got Braylon Marquez, with trades last year. There's just so much young arm talent. Does that kind of help extra motivate you that there's so many good young pitching prospects in the Cubs farm system right now?
Oh yeah, that's what I need. I love just having people that be able to compete, because I'm the biggest competitor someone will meet. So if I can have somebody that's competing against me and somebody that's trying to outwork me, I'm just going to go even harder. And one of the big guys is Killian. That dude works his butt off, and me and him we just love competing and we love working, and it's really cool. It's an awesome environment because it just makes you better in the end while you gain chemistry with these other pitchers. And we're a pretty close group. So me, Jordan, and all the other pitchers. So it's really cool to just be able to compete against them and have good chemistry at the same time, and have like a main goal that we're working to, and which is win games in Chicago and make it up there. So it's an awesome environment right now.
So you got the call up in September to join South Bend last year. what was, a very terrific week and weekend in terms of just fun here at the ballpark, because we had you debuting,
Jordan.
well in line on your way, I should say, to minor league pitcher of the year in the system. We had Jordan Wicks coming in that same weekend. What was it like to have your high A debut here in South Bend at the end of last season?
It was sick. I was just waiting for that call, and I finally got it. And I knew it was going to be against a good Cleveland Indians organization, right?
Yeah.
And I found out that day I was throwing against Daniel Espino, and which is another huge prospect. So it was cool to just be able to compete against him, and then to after that winning the battle against him and out pitching him. So that was pretty sick. But just coming in that week of just coming into the South Bend environment, he's going from Myrtle, which is like a super old field. You got wooden walls all the way around. It's just like an old atmosphere. And then you go to South Bend, and it was just beautiful. Like the field was beautiful. Like just the whole entire like weight room, the training room, the locker room. It was like you're going up like from the minor leagues to the big leagues of like the minor leagues. So it was awesome environment. And then it was most of my guys from my draft class, which was 2019. So I was super familiar with those guys, and it was just cool to see them and finish the season out with them.
So what is that feeling like when you get the call up? I mean, that's got to be just such a big moment for you.
Oh yeah, I remember Buddy called me into the office, and I couldn't, because I knew what it was going to be about. Because Morty was like, "Come on, DJ, let's go to the office." Trying to like play it off, but I knew what it meant, and you couldn't take a smile off my face. It was a really cool moment. And I go in there, and Buddy's like, "Why are you smiling so hard?" And I was like, I don't know, man, just hit it on me. And then he was like, "You're going up to South Bend." And I just couldn't take a smile off my face. And going to dap up the other players, and they come up to congratulate you is a really good feeling.
That's what me and Brennan King were talking about, the other Cubs broadcaster last week, which is hug watch. It's always big around the trade deadline, but you're always watching for a bunch of hugs coming in because someone just got promoted, or maybe around trade deadline maybe somebody just got traded. Exactly. But so what should we expect maybe new from you this year coming in 2022 that we didn't see from you last season?
A new glove. Hopefully some new cleats, but no, I just want to do my part and just trust the Cubs, and I just want to go out there and just do my thing, pitch with some swag. And they told me there's never been two pitchers to win minor league pitcher of the year in a row. So that's our goal, to win 2 in a row and do something nobody else has in the Cubs organization. And if all goes well, just do my thing. That's my big goal, is just do what I do.
Okay. My last baseball question was gonna be, do you have any goals for this 2022 season? I think you just said them.
There it is. Oh yeah. And I want to get into the top 100 prospects. I want to keep my my ERA below 2. I think that'll be an awesome thing. Keep the whip under 1, and then I want to keep above 14 strikeout rate, or 14 K per 9 throughout all the minor leagues till I get to the bigs.
Those are
there too.
Those are some big goals, but
Exactly.
I mean, coming off the season where you just put up all those numbers, 40.4% strikeouts.
We're gonna keep it going.
Yeah, you had I think it was like 14.49 strikeouts per 9 innings last season. I mean, it was just some bonkers numbers. So away from baseball, this will be posted next week after the big game, but it's Wednesday, February 9th. Super Bowl's in a few days. I want you on record. I want who's gonna win. I want your score prediction. What's gonna go down Sunday?
I got Joe Shiesty, the Bengals. They're America's team right now, but I got the score. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. The Rams got a good defense, and that's the only thing that scares me about the Bengals is that Rams D line. They're so good and quick. It might give Joe Burrow some trouble. But
had that 9-sack game that Bengals D line held up last week though.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go score 24-20.
24-20. With the Rams win?
Bengals
win. Nice.
Bengals
okay.
Win.
Now I got you on record. I'll go toe to toe with you so we can be a little competitive about this. Someone will have a little edge. I'm going 27-24. Bengals win it. I'm going Evan McPherson walk off, buzzer beater field goal, because that's just how it needs to end with how
That would
good
be
he's been
sick.
his
That would
rookie
be
season.
sick.
Or
What
is
did
there-
Wick say?
Is there a what?
What did Wick say?
I don't think I asked him for a prediction. I was just asking him honestly about his kicking. I was curious about how we thought overtime should work, because he was posting about how mad he was about overtime in that
Oh,
Bills
yeah,
Chiefs
I seen
game.
that.
And also, if he was kicking and he was the Bills kicker, 14 seconds left, are you putting it in the end zone?
When you hit it.
And he was saying you got to pooch that, you got to squib that. And I wanted to know how close Mahomes would have to get him to have tied that game up at the end. And he just said a lot closer. But I'm hoping Wicks will maybe join my Packers special teams unit next year, because it couldn't be worse. So yeah, he might improve on that front.
Y'all choked.
Yeah, that was rough. You got a go-to Super Bowl food?
Food. I like some homemade nachos and some ground beef cheese with salsa. So like mix all the ground beef with the cheese, melted cheese, and then throw in the sauce too, and mix them all up, and then just take some tortillas chips and eat that.
Man, that sounds good.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
so Bengals 24-20 with some homemade nachos. Super Bowl's coming up. We'll post this out there next week. DJ, it was a pleasure. And for everybody listening, thanks for tuning in. That was Cubs minor league pitcher of the year in 2021, DJ Herz.
Thank you, Max. I appreciate it.
The tropical edition of the Cubbie Corner rolls on. That was DJ Herz with our very own Max Thoma. Max, you enjoyed that one?
Oh, yeah. A great guy to talk to. I said it in our little tease open. Just so much confidence. It's just ridiculous. The guy walks around with just a certain swagger, a guy who is just going to go out there and just be a stud. He's going to go out there and shove. Yeah. He's just got the confidence. And, he was so good. His numbers were so incredible in low A last year. One of the best strikeout rates all time since Fangraphs started tracking it in low A. And then he came up, he got the cup of coffee, you could say, in high A. And he looked like he more than fit in. He was just dynamite again. So a great guy to catch up with. He's been in Arizona since November. I'm sure he's enjoying the warm weather, getting a lot of work in. We're expecting great things again this year.
Again, we're recording this on Tuesday. He actually tweeted earlier today. I don't know if you saw this, his new glove.
Oh, God. I was going to bring this up and I forgot about it.
Oh, it is like Cole Roeder a couple years ago got like an old school light Cubbie blue glove. You could describe it. It's sick.
And it said, I believe it was ice them up on one side was the stitching. And then the stitching on the other side is Herz Day. I mean, that's it really fits the personality, because there's a certain swagger that's going to come with that mitt. That mitt's going to see a lot of strikeouts this season.
No doubt it is. This is the Cubbie Corner. I'm Brendan King. That's Max Thoma. Before we go, South Bend Cubs promotional schedule has recently been released, and you'll get plenty of opportunity still to win flat screen TVs, even though Max will discuss it, but Saturdays are changing up a little bit.
Yeah, spin to win. So, instead of us giving away 9 TVs and, a TV between every inning on Saturdays, it's going to be the fan right there on camera on the Jumbotron, spinning to win. He can still win he or she can still win a flat screen TV. You can win an iPad. It's going to be a lot of prizes on there. It's going to make it, feel more live. It's going to feel more exciting. You're going to see the reaction of the person who wins. And there's just a whole plethora of prizes. And that Mark McGill is going to be having some fun with it, as opposed to, announcing himself winning the TV for the first few innings there.
or shouting out somebody's name in the first 10 rows and hope they're directly in front of them.
Yeah. Or trying to, or God forbid, trying to read that handwriting. Sometimes the handwriting can be a real ordeal. There was actually a funny one last year where I think it was, I'm trying to remember this correctly, Bryce Ball's sister maybe won, or mom won a TV, because the last name was Ball and it was from his same hometown in, I believe it's Carson, Iowa, if I'm remembering that correctly. It's somewhere in Iowa. And it was like, wow, that was definitely a relative of Bryce Ball. So sometimes you catch one that's a little funny, but spin to win on Saturday is going to be great. Whole promo schedule's out this week. If you're staying connected with South Bend Cubs on, online on the website or on social media, it's a big week to be following along, because we're posting a lot of our theme nights, Star Wars night, the Avengers, Defenders of the Diamond. That's going to be a ton of fun doing that a couple of times. Just got a whole lot of great stuff in the works. I was just talking to you off air. Jody Davis is coming for an appearance this year. 10-year MLB vet, 2-time All-Star, former Chicago Cub. A lot of fun stuff in store. So just make sure you're staying connected with the Cubs on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and on our website. That's where all the good stuff's happening these days.
Yeah, and then the other daily promotions, 2 for Tuesdays, giveaway Wednesdays, personal favorite Thirsty Thursdays, of course, back, fantastic fireworks Fridays. And you get some Sunday fun day action to end the week too, Max.
Sunday fun day. And remember, Sunday fun day last year, because of, the COVID situation earlier in the season, there was no autographs. There should be autographs this year, and catch on the field is going to be before the game, where it was after last year, after the players had all cleared away. And don't you forget about Tail Wagging Tuesday. We got dogs out here coming on the Tuesdays.
Okay. Wow. So every Tuesday is a dog day?
Every Tuesday is a dog day. You got to sign a waiver.
That's fantastic.
To get entry with your dog, but as soon as your dog's in, I mean, we just have a blast. We got so many photos of dogs enjoying themselves. They really do have just a ton of fun when they're here, and we love seeing them.
I mean, what more could you want? I mean, we'll have to get a couple in the booth and then we could just have them replace us. There was
a hilarious moment last year where Kyle Arnett, basically, I thought as a joke, said, "Hey, I'm going to bring in a dog." I was like, "Oh yeah, we should definitely bring in a dog." He said, "I'm going to find the biggest one in the ballpark." And our broadcast booth, once you have us in there, the big sign in there, it's not that big for having another person in there with a camera, the owner of the dog, and a dog. And he actually did find the biggest dog in the ballpark. It was huge. We all barely fit in there, and it was just a riot. I can't remember the dog's name, but man, this thing was a tank.
Remember what kind of dog?
No, yeah, I'm not good with dog breeds, and I just remember,
you
honestly,
just got a cat, didn't you?
I did. I just got a kitten yesterday. Just adopted a cat yesterday from Pet Refuge.
Wow.
I sponsor the South Bend Cubs on the radio side. Headed on down there. They actually had we could talk for hours here, man. They had a bird named Max that's like 25. So it was like a bird that is my age.
A 25-year-old bird?
Yeah, they said this thing will live till it's 60. His name was Max. So they kept talking to it. And they kept thinking they were talking to me.
Is it you're about to buy a parrot?
No, they kept talking to this bird whose name is Max.
Yeah.
And I thought they were talking to me.
What kind of bird is it?
I believe it was a African gray parrot, if you're familiar.
So it was a parrot.
Yes. And it can talk. Like it was the whole time it was just doing it was doing one of these. Water.
Well, okay, so if we were about to put dogs in a booth, you could truly put a parrot in the booth and we could leave.
We could
at that point.
Oh yeah. Oh, we'd have to teach it some lingo, but I mean, could it do our job for an inning there? Absolutely.
Ball strike out. What else do you need?
We got the kids guesting on the PA announcer side, which seems to always spark the offense. Maybe we need a parrot in the booth. That's a rally bird, but like actually in the booth calling the game. What do you think the most fun name for a parrot to say would be?
Oh, Edmund American would be pretty funny.
It's saying Edmund would be nice. Edmund. That's my parrot, by the way.
Well, I think it makes sense that we're talking parrots on the tropical edition of the Cubbie Corner.
Yeah, wow. Well, bookend right there.
We just came full circle right here. That's Max. I'm Brendan. This got a little off the rails, but what doesn't on the Cubbie Corner? We are back with you every week, of course, until opening day, April 8th at Four Winds Field against the Quad Cities River Bandits. Max is excited. I'm excited. The whole organization is ready to go. We'll catch you next week right here on the Cubbie Corner.